Welcome to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, political commentary.
Well, hello. Tonight you are going to decide which one has the prettier shirt. I got my half Hawaiian shirt, and Ray Michaels has the other half. So
that's right.
At the end of the night, we're going to have a vote. Ray, we have with us a major general. He's not in uniform, but a major general, Mick McGuire.
And talk about fighting back, which is this show.
Oh.
We are here to fight back and to find out how the general plans to fight back here in the state of Arizona by being the next senator.
Before we do,
yeah,
I want to thank you personally for all. He has been a public servant for what, 34 years?
Yeah, well, I went to basic training, 4 years a cadet in summer of '83, and almost 34 years commissioned, 38, just short of 38 total in uniform.
Wow. Well, thank you. And I want to, on behalf of Fighting Back and Hub Radio, I want to offer you this medallion here. You don't have to put it on.
Well, thank you.
It's a medallion, and it says United States Air Force.
Excellent.
And it's I don't know if you could hold that up.
There you go.
It's just a really, really nice little medallion, and I'm so impressed with this man's service. You know, my service was ended when I got shot or blown up, or I tell people I got blown up. That was the end of my service.
See, I only served in the Salvation Army, and they don't let me in the PX.
I'll tell you, we take them all. You're all serving now. We got to save this country.
That's right.
I do want to thank you for that, and I want to also bring you down to earth. I was reading your bio, and you've got 4,000 hours in the air.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right. A lot of time in the F-16. A lot of time making the trees big and small, putting warheads on foreheads.
And for those of you that don't know, he's running for the United States Senate from here in Arizona, and we're really impressed with that. This is a seat that is now held by a gentleman. Should I call him a gentleman?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
At any rate, he's Mark Kelly.
Mark Kelly, yeah.
We're not sure he's Irish, or it could be German. He could be German money. Mark, get that?
Yep.
Okay, that
German
didn't go
marks.
over real well. I didn't even hear the audience laughing. But at any rate, Mark Kelly, and he's pretty bad senator.
Well, you know, one thing that we do here on the show, this is not a personal attack. I'm sure he's a very nice person, but when it comes to serving the country, and I mean that sincerely, serving, being a public servant, somebody who is a statesman, who their number one goal is to look out for the people of Arizona, I think he's fallen short in just the short time that he's been here.
Yeah, Ray, he said he was being Arizona independent. He voted 98% of the time with Chuck Schumer.
That's what I was just going to say. The man, in my opinion.
And what's up, Chuck?
What's up, Chuck? I'm glad it's not dinner time.
Yeah,
we don't want to discuss that. But we're really happy to have you here. And if you don't mind, you have a very illustrious career. And I remember when about a year ago, I believe you resigned from the Air National Guard here. You were the general.
Commanding general,
General. And tell us, you grew up here.
I actually was out in Southern California. My family is originally from here, but my dad was commissioned in the Navy. So no Navy in Arizona. Was born out on the West Coast and went to school out there.
Get a battleship or aircraft.
But all my extended family was, they graduated Tucson High and U of A, my mom and dad. So I went to school out in Southern California.
Okay, and then you went to the Air Force Academy, and of course, he's a major general. A lot of people say that major generals have 2 stars. I say they have 4. 2 on each shoulder.
That's right. That's true.
So he's a 4-star general.
That's right. Had them all up. Sheriff Joe said something to me the other day about that, about how many he had, and I said, all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's the one who anointed himself.
He's got one big one, right? Doesn't he?
He anointed himself with all those little stars that he had. But no, thank you for so much for your service. And you flew one of the mightiest aircraft that was ever built. An F-15.
F-16. F-16s, 4,000 hours in that thing. F-16 out here. The Viper, I flew out at Luke in 92 to 95. My first assignment right out of pilot training was an F-16. I flew in the first Gulf War. Ron, I flew in the largest daylight raid since 1945 on January 19th, 1991. Yeah, we had
I remember that.
F-16s. We had 2 guys end up being POWs out of that. Hit the nuclear research facility in Baghdad. And my last F-16 was September 5th, 2013, and Governor Brewer, me from being down in Tucson, I was back home in Arizona, had been down there for 12 years, and she brought me up to be commanding general of the Guard. Spent just about 8 years, 18 months with her, about 6.5 years with Governor Ducey.
Well, that's quite an aircraft. I remember seeing them out here at Luke.
Yep.
Touch and goes.
Oh, yeah, it's a aircraft.
Wow, I couldn't. It's still in service. I mean,
So give us an idea. How fast can it go?
I think the structural limit was 800 knots or Mach 2.05.
Whoa, that's fast.
That is fast. It was around 765 knots.
How does that affect you with the human body with that much power?
Well, when you're going that fast, it's just like there's no real sensation of how fast you're moving until you try to turn the aircraft, and then when you turn the aircraft, the onset of the G's, especially at high speed, can be pretty rapid. And it's a high aircraft. It was 9G capable. It is. I've not been qualified in F-14, F-15, F-18, but I've flown in all of them. The F-15 is the greatest flying aircraft ever built.
Have you ever flown F-22?
Nope. No, not F-22 or F-35.
So now everybody remembers the Tom Cruise movie Top Gun, right? We all want to fly jets. My grandmother wants to fly jets, right? So were those 16s?
No, the first movie was based on F-14s. The Air Force has a program called the Fighter Weapons School, which is Top Gun in the Air Force. I'm a graduate of that program. I went through that right out of Luke. On my second assignment, I went up there and was graduated from that program in '96. And then went from there to Alaska, deployed a couple times in Alaska after in the Gulf War. And then my wife, Debbie, and I, we had 3 daughters. The oldest was 5th grade. I'd been 14 years in the active Air Force. I transferred out of the active Air Force, took a position as a full-time F-16 instructor down in Tucson just 5 months prior to 9/11.
Wow.
You were a weapons...
I was a weapons school graduate and all that.
Graduate, yeah. Which
now everybody has a nickname, right? You go to flight school. Can you share with us?
Yeah, my call sign was Bubba.
Bubba. Oh.
Yeah.
From the shrimp or what? Bubba shrimp?
Well, it was I was in Alaska, and the question they somewhat embarrassing. They said we're going to call you Sync for CIN. Finished weapons school. I was the new guy. They had made me the squadron DO as a major, and I said, well, that's probably a little much to say you're the commander-in-chief as a major in the Air Force. And at the time, old Clinton was the president at the time, and the FAA had issued a list of valid call signs we could use. And I said, well, I'll use Bubba. And they said, all right, there it is.
That's a great story.
That's true.
Now, when you were in Alaska, did you fly the Aleutian Islands? Did you head out
we
that
flew
way,
out over that way when we would go on an ocean crossing, but no, our normal area was in the interior on the north side of all the way up to north of the Arctic Circle. We had a huge training area out there.
That must have been beautiful flying over Mount McKinley. And then did you ever get the...
Absolutely. We lived up there 5 years.
That must have been breathtaking.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen them before. It's like a show. And for if you've never had an opportunity to see it, you literally are looking up and it's like a fireworks display, the way they move and everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. And flying at night, the further north you go, we fly up north of the Arctic Circle. And in the wintertime, down at Fairbanks, we only had 2 hours of daylight. So it was 22 hours. As anything other than flying at night.
And how cold it was during that time too. You had to be very careful with the
planes. I actually flew in mucklucks and 3 layers of clothing and all kinds of stuff. It was crazy.
Now I do have a question, because a lot of people do not realize that the United States in the Aleutians is only like 35 miles from Russia.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand. You say, well, Russia's half a world away.
No.
Did you gee whiz, I'm concerned that I may drift into
The airspace, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think people don't understand how big Alaska is. I mean, Alaska is 2/3 the size of the contiguous 48 United States.
That's big.
It's massive. I mean, we would only go all the way out over the Bering Sea, intending to go into Korea or down into Japan or Singapore. Other than that, we would never go that far because it was a good 800 miles to get out there.
Elected,
Yeah.
you may have as one of your comrades there as Sarah Palin.
That's right. Yeah, Sarah's a friend. She had the opportunity. She actually graced us with her presence at a Christmas party over at my house this year. So this was before she announced.
Because Ray, she's running. There was the senator from there was deceased, and she threw her hat in the ring to run for the Senate. So
Congress, but
the Senate.
Yeah. No, she's running for
She's
the
running
at-large Congress
Oh,
by
the
Don
Congress.
Young.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah,
the
Don
Senate.
Young, who
Yeah.
I think had been there long the other Republicans.
Yeah. So, we'd been talking before the show, and I'll tell you, I had an opportunity to interview you on the Jay Lawrence Show.
Yeah.
And that was just a wonderful time.
That was
Thank
about
you again
6
for
months
that.
ago. It was
yeah,
great.
Yeah. So, one thing that we talked about, Ron, and we were just chatting back and forth about all the many issues that are here in the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
And people focus on one issue, whether it's the border, whether it's water, whether it's the lack of police that we now have and the support that they need. And there's so many of these little issues. But you said something hit home to me. Why don't you let everybody know what you were talking about there?
Well, before the show started today and back when you were here previously, I said that the biggest challenge facing the nation, well, I've always said this, the greatest threat to the Republic, all of the challenges we face at the border, on the radical left trying to defund the police, on the tyranny of the majority about the issue in the Second Amendment, the right to life movement, all of the things that those of us on the conservative side challenge, all the challenges we face can be fixed with great leadership. And the one thing that the nation is missing at every level, from your local school board all the way up to the United States Senate, is leaders that understand they are no more or less important than any other member of the team. When I had this humbling opportunity to be the commanding general of 8,300 soldiers and airmen, I told them every day, it's important than any other member. I knew what it was, lieutenant flying in the war. I just have a different set of duties, authorities, and responsibilities. It's not more or less important. It's different. And as the final adjudicant, my job was to make sure we maintained discipline and we readied a force to be the greatest fighting force, to be the vanguards of the Constitution. And we protected them all the same to immutable characteristics, their gender, their skin color, their religious preference. And that's what the country needs right now, Ray. I'm telling you, I am not worried about existential threats. I'm worried about the radical left taking the country apart.
And I think, Ron, you as being the historian that you are, Abraham Lincoln talked about this.
Well, there were a lot of our presidents that talked about this, starting with George Washington, Jefferson, Adams. They all had a concept that somehow or other we've seemed to have lost. Our schools don't understand it. And one of the things that I'd like to thank you, I was looking at your website, and that is, different missions, same oath.
Yep.
And I found that to be a really nice, thoughtful statement. Because the mission that all of us are on has always changed. I mean, you and I have had different missions in our life. They weren't necessarily military. But when you take that oath of office for either politics or especially in the military, there are people that, like myself, I take that serious. It doesn't mean when you're separated, in other words, you're no longer in service, it doesn't mean that you don't have that oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. You're born with that oath. Even if you don't take it as an American, you should consider that.
Yeah. I would say this, Ron. In that video, I was asked, I'd never run for dog catcher. And I said, I need to remind all the consultants and everybody around me that's going to help me in this race. Every member of Congress, House and Senate, every circuit court judge, every federal district judge, every Supreme Court justice, the president, the vice president, and every commissioned officer take an oath of office, and every service member that serves enlisted takes an oath of enlistment. For all of those that had this unique authority as an office holder, ask your elected officials if they can recite their oath of office, regardless of what party they're in,
without reading it off a card, because it's not that challenging. They are told that they will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.